Okay, so this weekend is my first weekend of running my still. Up until this weekend, I've been using air stills, so this is obviously a big step up from using air stills while I was studying how to weld. like, you know, I had to learn how to weld stainless and make the line arm, and I made the condenser. I had no idea what I was doing. Parrot. Um, yeah, look at this. The condenser's pretty cool. I like it. It works really well. It's got a hole all the way through the middle. Coil that runs all the way around the outer shell. And right now, I have no idea about the cooling because there's not much information about what temps you run it at. I don't know if that's too cold or not, but I basically just go by what's coming out and the temp of it coming out. So, you know, we've got 20 degrees, which is what these are rated at to read correctly. I presume that's what they aim for when they and from all the videos I've watched, that seems to be a good output. So that's pretty much how I'm working it. This pot has just arrived this week. It's really cool. I like it. It's got an 1800 watt element and a 1000 watt boost element. So that switches on the 1000 watt, which you almost hear it instantly go clonk into gear. I'll turn it off. 1800 watts. I run it full bore because it's got this what is that, an SMR or power regulator thing. It's not focusing. Anyway, yeah, it's running at about 30% and it's just idling nicely. My cooling system has got 12 degrees in it, and the tank is 12 degrees. It's 17 degrees coming out the top and 85 degrees at the point of no return. So those are the three main temperature points. Oh look, because I switched on that switch, it has just started coming through. So it'll drop back to drips again shortly, which is, yeah, that would be like a little too much, I think, coming out like that. I don't know. This is my first time running a still, so and of course, yeah, this is my still it. Big bubbles disappear. How high is high? I'd say that's about around 80. My cooling system, I'm really happy with how this worked out. This is my dehumidifier that I don't use anymore. I tore the guts out and just poured the condenser into the it's a 15 litre rubbish bin I got from the warehouse. I got my air still and pulled it apart and tore the top out of it, and I'm using that as a crash cooler because when I'm not running the still, I turn this on and it drops that down to 0 degrees in about 30 minutes. So it's pretty efficient. I put this fan and heat exchanger and looped into the system, but you know, I just haven't really needed to use it. So I don't know if I need it. I think I might take it out actually, because it seems to be running really well. I really didn't think 15 litres or 10 litres of fluid would be enough, but it seems to work really well. I like the glycol because you can see any leaks. Like there's a little bit of a leak at the top there, and I wouldn't see that with all the condensation if that was just water. So it's a good thing. Yeah, so that's, of course, I got my fermenter on its own little table, and my hot liquor tank, and it's got half full of an old grape back set from my grapes that I grew last year. I'm just about to throw some sugar in it and stir it up, and then I'll crash cool it and throw it in the fermenter and throw in some yeast and yeehaw. So yeah, 3 separate tables. This is my heat transfer station with pumps. That's my still station, and eventually all this will go downstairs in the garage. But yeah, while I'm setting it up, it's in the kitchen. Yeah, I'm pretty proud of it so far. We'll see what I get to when I finally get my jacketed still running. Yeah. Oh, cheers to the 3 main YouTube channels that I watched to learn all this during when COVID came out. You know, I figured I'd learn all this, and so I have to, give props to Jesse from Stillet, George from Barley and Hops, and Bearded, because those are the 3 main channels that I spent hours watching over and over again to get my head around how stills work, or try and figure out what I need to get to this point anyway. So yeah, now I can sort of develop and learn as I go. So really happy with how that's worked out. It's my COVID hobby, and lockdown hobby, I guess you could call it. And what a cool hobby to have. Good evening.